And one of the big shifts we're trying to change in this narrative is there's nothing wrong with supporting people after divorce, right?
Right.
A lot of women, especially, have to move or downsize or go
Mhm.
somewhere else. And for them, they need new things. A lot of people literally have half of their things when they get divorced. And their community wants to support them, but they don't know how.
Welcome to Divorce Diaries, where attorney Cary Jacobson brings you real stories, hard truths, and practical advice on navigating divorce and family law. Whether you're going through it, considering it, or just curious, this is your place for clarity, confidence, and resilience.
Welcome back to Divorce Diaries Lessons from the Trenches, the podcast where we shine a light on the emotional journeys, practical tools, and the resilient people transforming life after divorce. I'm your host, Cary Jacobson, divorce attorney, mediator, and the host of this space where we talk about everything from legal logistics to the emotional survival. In today's episode is all about reinventing the way that we support those people who are starting over. And this is one you're not going to want to miss. I'm very interested in learning more about this topic. I'm thrilled to welcome Olivia Howell, co-founder and CEO of Fresh Starts Registry, the world's first divorce registry and groundbreaking divorce support network that's changing the way that we think about life's transition. Olivia is a certified life coach, a hypnotherapist, a single mom, and communications expert who's led campaigns for major brands and now leads a movement rooted in compassion, community, and fresh starts. Olivia, thank you so very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I am excited to learn more about this registry. I'm not that familiar with it. So I'd love for you to share what inspired you to launch Fresh Starts Registry.
I love this question. So I love when I meet people who don't know what we do and who we are, because it's always exciting. So as many people may guess, I'm divorced myself. I'm a single mom. It's actually 6 years ago today. My ex-husband moved out August 4th. And so we got separated in April of 2019. I was a work-at-home mom. I have a marketing agency. I had 2 little boys. We owned a house. We had, on paper, what seemed like a really normal suburban life. And then the marriage fell apart, as they do. And I come from a really long line of divorce. My parents are divorced. All of my grandparents are divorced. So I grew up, really, it was very normal for us.
Right.
You know, it was just is what it is. And when we separated and he moved out, my sister, who is 2 years younger than me, came over, and she and her then fiance helped me clean the house out, and really, like, we donated so many items that were emotionally charged, and then rooms were empty, and it was like living in a ghost town. And I thought, well, this is when I need the support, right? This is when I need the new stuff. Like, I don't want to use the same toothbrush holder or the same shower curtain or towels or sheets. And so I Googled it, right? I thought, well, there's got to be a divorce registry, right? This is when you have to rebuild. And the only things that came up were articles that said, why is there not a divorce registry, from Vogue and Elle and all of these places? So I called my sister, and at the time she had just gotten engaged. So we're living kind of different lives. And I said, I think I have an idea. I want to start this Fresh Starts Registry, where it's this one-stop shop to begin again. And she was like, I love this, but we've never built a startup. At the time, we were not even working together. She was on the road doing big events for tech companies, and I had this 6-figure marketing agency, and I was doing social media across the world and raising 2 kids. And she was like, I love this, but we don't know how to do this. So like, let's table this. Right. And I said, okay, but when you have that idea and like, you can't give it up. Right. So flash forward to, my sister was supposed to get married May of 2020. And as anybody can remember, there was not a lot of weddings going on then. So they pushed the wedding. And then by the time they pushed it the 3rd time, he decided he wasn't in love with her anymore.
Wow.
So she had the opposite experience that I had. I stayed in the marital residence and had to rebuild. She literally left her apartment with nothing. And she moved back to Long Island, which is where we're from. She got a very cute little Gilmore Girls type apartment here
Mhm.
in Huntington Village. And she called me and she said, "Remember that idea you had for the divorce registry? I need new things." She said, "Let's do it. Let's build it." And so she literally bought, I get chills every time I tell this story. She bought a new kitchen table for herself, a new dining room table. We sat at the table in August, almost 4 years ago now, and we built it from scratch.
Wow.
And then we are the world's first divorce registry platform and the premier divorce support network, which I'll get into. And so we are just committed to shifting the narrative around divorce and normalizing it. And everything that you've seen, we've built ourselves, and we are so proud of what we do. We because we are the first divorce registry, people have had a lot of things to say about us. And so we were on NBC by that February, and we've just kind of taken off since then. Yeah, so that's essentially where we started. But as you know, with building a business, there's lots of iterations. So we have changed a lot since then, which I'm happy to talk about too.
Absolutely. Well, I love this story. I, again, hate that you both had to go through that, but
Right.
that something so wonderful came of that, and
Yeah.
which is so needed, because like you said, people are in different situations, but those are, why is it always the happy times where people are receiving gifts, when
Yep.
these are the times that it's really necessary.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so we actually call it support, right? This is a physical manifestation of the support you can give to somebody. And one of the big shifts we're trying to change in this narrative is there's nothing wrong with supporting people after divorce, right?
Right.
A lot of women, especially, have to move or downsize or go somewhere else. And for them, they need new things. A lot of people literally have half of their things when they get divorced, and their community wants to support them, but they don't know how. And
Right.
so we're coming out and saying, build the registry. It's always free to make a registry. We're powered by Amazon for a multitude of reasons. Number one is safety. We put safety of our users first and foremost. So you can come to make a registry. We don't collect your user data ever. We don't ask for a credit card. We don't ask for an email address. We just help you build a registry with all of our products that we recommend. And we recommend them based on rooms of the house, based on budgets, based on all sorts of design and aesthetic styles. And we also provide scripts for you. So when you send your registry to people, you can know exactly what to say, because this is a very new idea.
Right. Yeah.
And then we do a lot of the support on the other side, right? So how can people support those people going through divorce as well? And then we also have a whole other side of the company, which is actually how we make our money, which is supporting experts who are in the divorce industry.
Well, I'd love to learn, share with our listeners a little bit more about that side as well. Obviously, the registry is a wonderful piece of it,
Yes.
but all of the other professionals that are part of that support team.
Absolutely. So when we built the registry, we were like so passionate. We built the blueprint for the business, and then we were like, "Oh no, this isn't making any money. How are we going to make money from this?" Right? We are incredibly passionate about providing accessible and free resources for anybody going through a divorce. So we have free ebooks, free dictionaries, all sorts of free resources. However, that's not going to pay the bills.
Right.
So my background is in marketing and public relations. I've been doing that for 20 years. My sister's background's in tech and, communications. So when we were trying to build this, we had a friend say to us, "Why don't you do what you've always done and support experts in their marketing and public relations?" It was like a light bulb went off in our head. So we have a beautiful membership there's 2 levels for $25 for any divorce professional per month, right? So it's $25 a month. You have your own profile that's SEO optimized and very high. It comes up in Google because of the divorce registry. You have our networking events. You can share your events and your courses and everything that you're doing with our community. And you get discounts on all of our cohorts and things like that. And you get referrals, which is something I'm going to talk about, which is unique that we do. And then this is where the really cool part is. For just $55 a month, you get all of that.
Mhm.
But you also get support in your business. So we have co-working twice a week. We have hot seat business coaching twice a week. We have workshops. We have a huge resource, gallery and guide and content library. And you have access to any of our top podcasts to come be a
Mhm.
guest. And here's the clincher. We actually do public relations at that level too. So we have placed our experts into New York Times, Time Magazine, all sorts of places. And it's a fantastic way if you're a divorce lawyer or
Mhm.
coach or therapist or co-parenting specialist to start to get your name out there. So we adore our experts and we absolutely stand by them. They are vetted. When you sign up to be an expert, you do have to sign a waiver that says you are non-judgmental,
Mhm.
shame-free, and inclusive, because that's really important to us. And the really cool thing that we offer, we started this year, I kind of started it on a whim to see what would happen, is free consults with me for 15 minutes with anybody going through or considering divorce.
Mhm.
And I started this kind of just at the holiday season to say, like, let me give back a little bit and see what happens. I call them divorce resource consults. So you meet with me
Mhm.
for 15 minutes. I listen to what's going on. I am a certified divorce coach. I don't do divorce coaching, but I
Okay.
wanted to make sure I was
Yep.
certified in that.
Yep.
And I'm a certified life coach, as you said. And so it's confidential. You meet with me on Zoom, and then I put together a customized email for you with the experts that you should talk to. I introduce you to the experts and then all the resources. And I started this in December and I booked up for January in about 2 days.
Wow.
And then I said, I'm just going to keep this rolling. And now we're booked out months in advance. And so I absolutely adore this part of the business. To me, it's just my passion. I love connecting our experts with
Mhm.
the people. And I have to say, like, shout out to our amazing experts. I myself know how hard it is to get in touch with lawyers and everybody, right? And when I connect them to one of the people that I work with, they're getting back to them within hours and
Awesome.
supporting people. And so it's really beautiful. And so we have created this entire ecosystem to support people through divorce. And we're really proud of what we do and to really help shift that narrative about, like, this is a time of support, right?
Mhm.
And like, let's come together to support people. Let's support divorce professionals to get their name into the world and get the people that they need. And it's just this beautiful journey that we've been on.
Well, that sounds like a great win-win, both for the professionals, but
Yeah.
also those people who are going through the process. It helps them have the resources for their team that they're going to need to move
Yes.
forward.
Exactly. And the amount of, I talk to men too, but mostly women who come through and just look at me and say, I didn't even know this was possible, right?
Right.
A lot of stay-at-home moms, a lot of women who feel very trapped. And for us to say, it's not only possible, but we're going to provide you with the support that you need is really, truly, it's wonderful. It's magical.
Right.
So I'm very proud of that.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So back to the registry slightly.
Yep.
What types of things are that people able to, register for? Is it household items? Is it kind of give me an idea of what that looks like?
Absolutely. So let's talk about that. I love that question. So we have two ways to build a registry. We are mostly powered by Amazon, but I know that some people don't like Amazon. So we also have myregistry.com in case
Okay.
you want to do that as well. However, we love to encourage people to register for the things that I like to say your ex may have touched most in the house,
Gotcha.
right?
Yep.
So so we don't track users. We do have affiliate links, which we
Mhm.
make pennies on. That's not why we do it. We really like
Yep.
to see what's being bought and purchased. And so it runs the gamut of things that are super practical, right? So the
Mhm.
top items are towels, sheets, utensils, plates, cups, those things. And then also some people add really cool things like disco balls and pirate flags and a lot of, new underwear and
Mhm.
bathrobes and slippers. Something that was really important to me is if you go to the registry site, we have bundles of products that on Amazon that you can just go add all the products. We've
Right.
done the research. We have looked at the stars and the ratings, and you can, because as we know, divorce is so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make
And
sure
so
that
much to choose from.
oh my gosh, there's so many things to choose from. And we didn't want you sitting there late at
Right.
night going, which, toothbrush
Yep.
holder does my family need? But we built out a bundle for children's rooms, right? Because a lot of
Mhm.
women, especially, need to move out to a smaller space. And I can tell you that first thing they're thinking about is how to make the
Mhm.
children's room, as special as possible. But as a single mom myself, I wanted to make sure these were items that a single mom could build on her own in the room late
Mhm.
at night, right? You don't have another set of hands. And so we really thought about the user's perspective and journey the entire time that we were building this. And I think that that's what makes us a little bit different too, is we think about the safety of every single user. I was on a divorce consult the other day with somebody, and she had been messaging me on Instagram to set this up. And
Mhm.
then she was like, I don't want my messages in my Instagram. And so I sat with her until we deleted all her messages, right? Like
Right.
we are led by heart. We want
Mhm.
people to feel safe with us. My sister and I had each other through this, and we want other people to feel like we're your big sisters, right? We're going to see
Right.
you through this also. And so the registry side is also, it's been really cool because we also get a lot of women who come to us who are in their 50s and 60s and
Mhm.
70s. And as you know, gray divorce is on the rise.
Yep.
And so many of these women have literally never picked out a set of towels on their own, or, sheets. And they go for the floral, the pink, the
Right.
colorful. And it's so beautiful to sit, talk to these women. And they're like, I picked out artwork for the first time in my life, and it really is, it's not about the items, right? It's about
Mhm.
choosing joy. It's about deciding what's good for you. And it's about surrounding yourself with the things that the people in your life got for you, right? So,
Right.
like, when you look at the new sheets that your cousin in California sent to you, you can feel loved, right? Because you know that somebody that loved you bought those sheets. And I believe I've done a lot of work in the subconscious as a hypnotherapist. When you can start to rewire your brain and see that you're loved and surrounded with love, it's going to help your confidence. It's going to help you
Mhm.
make those decisions. So, a lot of people are like, divorce registry, I don't want to get you a present for your divorce. It's not about the gifts or the support.
Right.
It's about the idea behind it.
I love that. I understand that, now that people are going into this new chapter, and now they're able to pick the things that they want to have,
Yeah,
not necessarily have to feel like they're picking things for someone else, and they can
absolutely.
choose whatever that makes them excited.
Absolutely. In fact, I had a whole thread that went viral on Threads about choosing pink items after your
Mhm.
divorce. And then Forbes did a whole piece on it because it turns out a lot of women really want to decorate their house with pink, and they haven't been allowed for many years. And so it's those little pieces of divorce that you don't think about that we
Right.
get really sociologically nerdy about and we like to talk about.
Well, can you share a success story from someone who used the registry and found healing through it, whether it was just the registry or any of the professionals in the process?
Yeah, I'll share a little of both. So we actually, I said we have this bundle for children's
Mhm.
rooms. We had a friend of ours who was going through a divorce, and she had to move out from her bedroom house to a 2-bedroom apartment, and had 2 little boys. And she actually went and registered for all the kids' items, right? The little boys' stuff, all those things.
Mhm.
And she put it on social media, and people on her social media bought her everything she needed. And she sent us videos of her children's rooms. And again get chills every time I think
Yeah.
about it. It was so beautiful. And then I'll share, just even last week I talked to a woman who came to me. A lot of people find me on social media, and she said, I'm an abusive marriage. It's very emotionally abusive. I have little kids. I don't have my
Mhm.
own income. And I said, okay, well, actually, one of our experts, who's an amazing financial planner, he's
Mhm.
offering free support right now to anybody I recommend. Would that be something you'd be interested in? And she started to cry, and she said, I didn't even think this was real. And it
Right.
was so heartbreaking and beautiful. And, for a lot of women, I'm the first person that they tell that they're
Mhm.
considering divorce. I've had instances talking to women on Zoom where they're hiding from their husbands.
Right.
And, and so I don't think people realize that while we talk a lot about divorce in our society, we're not talking a lot about divorce in
Right.
our society. And there's a lot of women, especially, who are really trapped. And, between people like you, Cary, right, and talking about it all the time, and, the work that we do, we can really start to open this conversation up, which might save some people's lives.
100%. Yeah, I agree. It's talked about on a surface level,
Yes.
but not like the underlying issues that people face.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you are a hypnotherapist,
I am.
and that you are a divorce and life coach.
Mhm.
What are some of those emotional patterns that you see people rebuilding after divorce?
Oh, I love this question so much. So when people come to me, I do some life coaching and business coaching. But when I do my consults too, and even for my friends, they'll come and say, what do I do? I feel so lost, right? The first thing I always recommend is go listen to the music you listened to when you were 14. That music when you were 14 is who you were.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to that. And everybody does it, and they're like, that was life changing. Right. And I, of course, will always say, go see a therapist. Therapy is amazing. Divorce coaches are amazing, right, to get through this time. But so much of the patterns I see is not about going back to who you were, but it's about stepping into who you were always supposed to be. And I always like to say divorce is not about winning or losing. It's about
Right.
finding who you are. Right. And as hard as it is, you will step out of that like a phoenix as somebody new. And so much of that pattern is has to be rewired, right? You deserve, you are worthy, all of that. And that can totally be done. It feels like it can't,
Right.
but I promise it can.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you mentioned earlier you're a single mom, you're an entrepreneur, you, I believe, also have your own podcast.
We have a lot of podcasts. Yes, we
Okay.
have a few. Yeah.
How do you stay so grounded during all of this?
That is a great question. I am lucky enough. So I actually sold my house about 3 years ago and moved back in with my mom and stepdad.
Okay.
And so I invested that money into the company
Mhm.
because that's how passionate I was. And living back with my parents has been really great. I have to say they are an incredible support and help with the kids. So I have some support
Awesome.
there.
Yep.
It is so cool. I always say, if you're a single mom and you
Mhm.
can move back home, because it's great for the kids, it's great for my parents, it's great for me.
Yep.
And I definitely make sure to take time at night to just unwind, right? I watch a lot of old Nick at Night. And I also I use our experts. I go to our own experts. We have an energy clearer that I go to once a month. Right now I'm doing a course with one of our experts. She's doing a meditation course. I literally use the
Awesome.
people that I recommend, and I, will do anything that they offer. Many of our experts offer free things too, and I will go to as much as I can. And the beautiful part about building a company with your sister is that we've built so many things together that we're so aligned. And just like as an example, this summer we swapped time off, and so I'm a writer too. I'm working on a lot of stuff. We have a book proposal we're working on, and I took the week off just to work on my own writing. And like, you can't do that when you're an entrepreneur most of the time, but knowing that my sister she runs the company better than I do most of the time, then it's like, and then she's taking off, and so it's just having those that foundation in place that if you have like we've had off days and we're like, I just can't do it today. It's like the other sister's like, good, go take a nap. It's fine. That's very unusual, but we're very grateful for it.
Well, having that family support is
Huge.
huge. Yes. And so for any of our listeners out there that are going through divorce or have been divorced, making sure that you have that support team, whether it's family, friends, whatever it might be, is critical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, what's one thing that you wish everyone knew about kind of divorce and healing, something that you would really like to share with our listeners?
You're not alone. you're not alone. It feels so isolating, and I've been through, my marriage was emotionally abusive, psychologically abusive. I had a lot of healing after that, and that's why I share so much, because
Mhm.
the amount of women that come to me and say, I didn't even know what I was going through until you talked about this on Instagram or whatever. But you're not alone. And if you are scared to get started, book a call with me. It's totally free. There's no upsell. I just am here to support you. And I promise you, if you're going through something, somebody else is definitely going through the same thing.
Absolutely. Well, Olivia, thank you so much for being here. And I really loved this conversation. You've taken something that is so often shrouded in shame, divorce and separation, and really turned it into a moment of strength, community, and celebration.
Thank you.
For everyone who's listening, or whether you're going through a divorce or a breakup, know that you are allowed to begin again and have that fresh start. Olivia, how can our listeners know more about the registry and the services that you provide?
Absolutely. So you can go to freshstartsregistry.com and you can build a registry. You can access our expert guide for free. We have 3 free ebooks right now on the website, tons and tons of blog posts. And you can reach out to us online or on Instagram at Fresh Starts Registry, or I'm simply Olivia Howell. My sister is Genevieve Dreisen. We're here anytime, day or night, for anybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And for those joining Divorce Diaries, be sure to follow the podcast, share it with someone that may be going through this or may, find helpful information. And until next time, I'm your host, Cary Jacobson. Take care.
Thanks for joining us today on this episode of Divorce Diaries. Remember, every journey is unique, but you don't have to navigate it alone. Visit jacobsonfamilylaw.com or call 443-726-4912 for support and guidance.